I want to welcome you to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. What's up, peoples? How you doing? Okay, so we got an amazing group here today. It's Moon and Aries. And let me tell you something. We're talking about the glitch in the Matrix. Not only that, their new music and all that stuff. We're also going to be doing the documentary on what they do day by day. This is going to be an amazing, amazing show. You don't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the show. Okay, so listen to me. Listen good. This is Yaya Diamond. I am telling you right now that these people are moving up. They had their billboard on New York Times Square. They are moving. They are doing that thing that they need to be doing with that music. So I want to welcome Moon and Aries to the show. Hey guys, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, Yaya.
Hey.
Great to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
No, anytime. And I tell you, it's such a pleasure to have you guys back on the show. It's just amazing. All right, so let's talk about it. Tom, you're in a different country, and Jordana, you're in a different country, and I'm in a different area. I'm on location today. So let's talk about it. Ladies first, Jordana, tell me about yourself and tell everybody who may not already, I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't know about you already, but tell everybody about yourself.
So I'm Jordana, and I'm Jordana Moon. I am the moon in Moon and Aries. And yeah, I live in Canada on the West Coast. I am the singer and the lyricist for our songs. And yeah, I've been doing it for a very long time, but things changed when I met Tom. It became more real. And it's the music that I've always been wanting to make. And so,
Hey, I'm Jordana. I am 50% of synth pop opera duo Moon and Aries. So I am the singer and lyricist of our band. And yeah, this is it. Welcome to my home studio. I just accumulated things over the years, some things I don't need, and I thought I needed and never figured out how to use. But for the most part, it's going good here at home. I like it. I look forward now to be in a bigger studio with people like helping and with better equipment. That will be nice. But for now, we did one full album, an EP, and a trilogy of 9 songs, all from our own separate home studios. So that's been pretty cool that we've been able to do that and achieve a sound that we're really happy with and collaborate on this level.
I've been like writing and singing, but doing like cover music and then writing, like being a part of like sketch comedy groups and different things for websites. And I was always doing like sports writing, and I went to a film school to learn writing for TV and movies and stuff, and then I would sing cover songs. And I would obviously write music, but it's easier to get booked as a cover singer, right? So they were always sort of separate worlds for me until one day I was just like, okay, no more. This needs to become one, and I need to really go for it. And then after I made that decision, it was about 2 years later that I met Tom. And yeah, I was doing some solo projects and just other like collaborations. And then I met Tom, and we were friends for like 6 months, and on Instagram, like pen pal type, right? And I just really loved his instrumentals, and I was like, yeah, this is the kind of stuff I'd love to write over. Because I was mostly composing my own music, but that's not like, it's not like a real passion for me. And I would rather work with someone where that's their gift, and bring them what I have to the table. And so Tom's music instantly like captivated me, and I was just always secretly hoping he would ask me to write and sing over one of his songs.
I've been longing for this, waiting in so much pain for bliss. Life's a kiss, now lay your lap down. The allure, the air lies all around.
That is so cool. So cool. So that's kind of like a happenstance. You don't really find that a lot, people's music that inspires you to actually write on top of it. That's very
Yeah,
rare.
it
Very
is.
rare.
Because
Yeah.
I would get a lot of people asking me, hey, can you write over the song? And I would listen, and I think that's an okay song, but like I'm getting nothing. I don't, it's just, I couldn't feel it. And then Tom's music, it was like, okay, I'm in the world, I'm in the environment. And because his stuff is very cinematic. And in my training of writing for TV and movies, it was like an easy sort of pairing. And it was like, oh, okay, I know. And it was just like, it's always like exciting whenever Tom sends me something new. I'm just like, yes, I get to explore this new world, these new like realms and the thoughts that exist in this concept, and put it together in a song and make it catchy and all of that stuff. So it's we've been making songs for like 2 years, and we still have a lot more to make. So yeah, it's crazy. It's kind of a crazy feeling to like, knock on wood, not get writer's block.
Oh, please no.
So Tom and I spend about 2 to 3 months fleshing out an idea for a song. Even before Tom is ready to compose it, and we feel the energy, we have sort of lived it, we've talked about it, lived the idea, and so so by that time when Tom sends me the composition, I'm always like, yeah, this is it. Always. Like never a time when I'm not. I'm always like, sweet, let's do this. This sounds amazing. And I'm always excited, so excited to start writing the lyrics. And I do, like, I pen it, especially when I'm at work, I pen it. And just jot down ideas. I'm a big, so I studied writing in film school and like writing for TV, movies, any sort of interactive media. And I'm a big fan of fleshing out ideas, first draft, second draft, 20th draft, right? It's like, you got to get to the truth of what you're actually trying to say. And that takes a while to get there. So, that's fun. I mean, it's painful. It's hard work, but it's fulfilling, and it makes me feel really happy and good and at peace and my true self and all of that stuff. So it's good. It's fine. All that inner work. So yeah. So, and then when it comes to singing, so obviously you saw my guitars. I am a composer. I'm a composer myself. Let me get that other finger in there. And I'm okay. Like, I don't know. I'm okay. I'm not Tom. I don't ever think of melodies. Like, I always think of lyrics, and then I think of melodies. So that's why I work with a composer who thinks of melodies. But I do understand the composition part of it. And so I'm able to then find a melody on top of what Tom's already doing. So that definitely helps. And I've been playing instruments for a very long time. So you gotta have your hands in a little bit of everything. I even took a production course to help me learn how to record at home. If you can just learn like 5 to 10%, right, of every little thing, it definitely makes a difference, right? Okay, so that is just a brief introduction of us. Okay.
Oh, please no. Oh, please no. Tom, tell us about yourself.
Hi, this is Tom, aka Aries from Moon and Aries, and I just want to talk a little bit more about my music influences right now, and especially when I'm listening to music. And when I'm listening to music, we have to talk about cars and driving, because driving from point A to B is always a situation where I'm loving to listen to music. So driving, using radio, but also using this moment of driving sometimes lonely at night from point one to B, to use 2-3 hours just listening to music is one of my favorite places when we're talking about listening to music. And sometimes when I'm working on new songs, new compositions together with Jordana Moon, I'm always using the car to check some new updates, some new files when we are combining her wonderful lyrics and voice together with my instrumentals to a complete song, that I'm checking mastering and mixing versions in the car and using the time driving to work, for example, or driving from another point A to B, as I've mentioned, to just listen to music. And when we're talking about music influences, um, I'm really loving that Jordana and myself were so influenced by music, lovely, great bands like ABBA, like Bee Gees, like Depeche Mode, Kraftwerk, all the artists from the 80s, for example, and that we are really influenced mainly by artists of the past. So the decades 70s, 80s, 90s, in our opinion, these are the decades with the most attractive and interesting upcoming bands, and especially from a lyrics perspective, from an overall perspective. Please think about the wonderful videos of the 80s, handmade and so full of storytelling, like mini movies, and also the upcoming MTV generation and the possibilities to share wonderful videos. And sometimes it's really sad that MTV or other possibilities to have access to videos have reduced. And of course, now we have TikTok or have YouTube, but it's not the same as the time in the 80s, 90s with these wonderful, big mini movies, or let's say, music videos like films. And so when we're talking about music influences and the decades influenced us the most, we have really to highlight the 80s. I think Jordana and I are loving the 80s so much. And also when we're talking about influences before the 80s, I think the 60s, 70s with a lot of wonderful musicians, and also like ABBA, for example, influenced us a lot. So when we're talking about Moon and Aries, music experiences and our bases, I think you will hear that in our sound there is a lot of retro sound, and some will say, hey, where's the mainstream in your sound? And we have to laugh about and to say clearly, yeah, but maybe we are loving really the music from the past, where um, musicians are well known for not earning money with their music to fulfill chart hits and expectations like that from the record labels. No, it was the other way around, that the record labels were discovered by wonderful new artists, and they have sent music and shared their stories. And storytelling and developing songs with a higher purpose and a higher meaning behind, that was really, really, especially in the 70s, 80s, and the beginning of the 90s, one of the best times for artists and music. And so we are mainly influenced by that. And of course, when you hear our music, you will hear some retro elements, but you will also hear some futuristic elements. And of course, we all do not know the music of the future, but we love to combine modern elements with some retro elements, and not only talking about instrumental parts and synthesizers. We are mainly talking about using the storytelling and the emotional and the high vibrational way of developing wonderful lyrics, concepts, and also music videos to our songs, and combine that with the possibilities of modern music production environment. And so Jordana and I really loving to not only listening to music in the car, we are mainly influenced by the 70s and 80s.
Yes, thanks, Yaya. And Yara, first of all, I'm a little bit touched by the wonderful words also about me from Jordana. So I have to sort a little bit, but I'm Tom, aka Aries. So as you have heard, I'm the other 50% of Moon and Aries, and within Moon and Aries. And I'm living in Western Germany, in Cologne. So Jordana in Western Canada, me in Western Germany. Our cities we are actually living in sounding like similar. Jordana in Kelowna, me in Cologne. So it sounds similar. Maybe also a sign from above that it was forever a plan from above to put us together, maybe. Yeah, and when we're talking about me, of course, I'm not 20 anymore. I'm a little bit older, and I'm also coming from a very experienced music education. I'm not a writer. I'm not mainly a singer. I was also singing in the band in my early 20s, but mainly I'm coming from a classical piano education, and later with 16, 17 years old, that age, I've discovered the synthesizer, electronic music, and also I was really producing and making mainly compositions for movies and little documentations. Of course, not large movies. I'm not in Hollywood right now, so I'm only started to compose for film, for music, documentaries, and video games. Yeah, but then later on, I've also played in bands, and but then after a longer break, I've decided to share my music on Instagram, and that was the beginning of Moon and Aries in March 2020. Really interesting. Yeah, when we're talking about these weird COVID-19 times and everyone isolated in the maybe little home studios at home, and Jordana was sharing her wonderful music, and I was deeply touched and flashed by her wonderful lyrics and her unique voice. And from the beginning, I was really a fan of Jordana, and I was also hoping that Jordana will maybe ask me or we will work together. And there was from the beginning a connection. So when we're talking about the beginning and also about Jordana and me, I think maybe this was the plan from the universe. Jordana and we are always talking about that. So there is maybe a higher plan from above putting us together, because she is the wonderful writer and singer. I'm mainly a composer. So I'm not calling me a producer, for example. I'm more or less a composer making instrumentals. And when we are putting our Jordana singer and writer talent together with my composition skills, I think that's, in our opinion, the perfect foundation and explanation for Moon and Aries.
So Tom and I really trust each other. I always believe in all of his instrumentals. The thing about Tom's instrumentals is that they are masterpieces of their own. So my job is to not take away from how amazing it is and just add to it, because bad lyrics, bad vocals can just totally destroy everything that he has created, which is, like I said, it's 100% good on its own. So I have to make sure that I'm doing my job to preserve it and still enhance it. When you're looking like a song like Closer and Closer, that song encompasses basically what Tom, like our dreams, right? Like we're getting closer to our dreams. And but obviously the way Tom's instrumental is, I can't say like cheesy on the nose lyrics of like, I'm so excited, our dreams are coming, they're right around the corner. Like there's got to be something a little bit more special, something a little bit more poetic that layers in more of the truth, right? So I find that poetry is the best way, because it's more of like symbols and metaphors that help you imagine the truth better than explaining it, like, and making it more like on the nose, right? So Closer and Closer took me like a while to get right. I had a lot of drafts. And then I would be like, okay, what is it that I'm trying to say? What sounds good? What is in the flow, like, yeah, that was a really tricky one for me to write. And then when I see, sometimes I just get like one word, like I got invasion, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna like work with this word invasion, because that's what we want to do. So we want to like invade. We want to invade people's ears, people's minds. So like I came up with, if our persuasion preludes an occasion we can't deny, we ate the fruit for our reprise, this way we meet the requirements, right? We ate the fruit for our reprise, right? It's almost like the forbidden fruit, to take one more chance at this, one more stab at it. The fruit that takes you down the rabbit hole, just like Eve, you know, biting the apple, taking her down the rabbit hole, really. So that's sort of the way it goes there. But then, yeah, this occasion preludes our invasion. So I love when I find rhyming words to exactly what I'm trying to say, like occasion and invasion. It's like, yes, this works.
Definitely, definitely. And we're going to take a short break right here to talk about what you guys do every day, each and every day for your music. Oh, hold on a second. I think I got a clip.
Now it's time to show you a little bit more behind the scenes of how we composing songs, and especially in my case, how I will start with my first instrumental ideas. And as always, I'm starting to develop some instrumental ideas at the piano. I'm playing on the piano some first notes, and very often it begins with maybe just a piano idea like this. But of course, you cannot develop a song only with some piano notes. You have directly to think about some ideas for some additional instruments. And mainly I'm working then with pads, like synthesizer pads. I'm loving synth so much, as you all can hear within our songs. And I love strings and natural elements, orchestral elements so much too. So I'm coming also from an educational classic piano and orchestra background. So mainly I'm starting to combine then piano sounds with strings sounds and starting to playing around with some first ideas. And then giving an additional beat to that is the first basis of our Moon and Aries songs. And when you combine 2 or 3 instruments, you're having a good basis for a song, and it sounds like this. Okay, time to add some additional instruments. And as always, as I've explained, I really try to do it then a little bit more old school by playing instruments really live in the keys or on the keys. Sounds like an interesting bass line, so adding this additionally. Okay, but something is missing. So I'm really thinking we have to add some additional instruments. And for example, I really love to use some analog old synthesizer sounds to play a little bit around once again with some interesting magic key elements. And so step by step, the song is starting to grow and having a good basis and foundation to send it now via file sharing to Jordana in Kelowna, and she can start to sing her magical lyrics with her magical voice.
Welcome back to the show. So let me tell you something. I am so excited for these guys. It's not the first time we've worked together and not the first time I've had them on the show. And most definitely not the first time you've heard their music on my radio station and also on the DJ platforms. So you guys, when you first started working with me, what was that like?
I guess when Tom had told me about you, Yaya, I was so excited because it just felt like someone who is in the industry, who was looking out for independent artists, who, you know, is an artist themselves and has the good contacts, has a cool way of finding different broadcasts. And yeah, I was, and the fact that like, it seemed that you were like genuinely interested in our music and helping us. And that's really hard to come by. And so even though I hadn't really been speaking with you, I could just feel from Tom that, wow, this person is a really good match for us. And I feel like we have to keep up a contact and a connection there. Because we're always looking for like, you know, people that are in alignment with our values and the way we see the music industry. And yeah, so we can always feel right away who those are, the types of people that we're matching with, and you were absolutely one of them. So thank you so much.
I think that, you know, you guys have amazing and different music. I love that different music because you can fit it anywhere. It's like you can have it in the elevator, you can have it on a movie, you can have it, you know, on your stereo, you can play it on a party, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do with it, and it'll give you whatever, it'll set the tone of whatever you want it to set the tone of. It's kind of like that versatile kind of music where you can't really put it in a category, but you can put it everywhere. That's the kind of music that I think you guys are composing. That's what I love so much.
I love driving and listening to music. It is my favorite place to listen to music. This is why like Tom and I make music the way that we do, and that it can be that sort of energy for a good like night ride, highway driving, morning on the way to work, just to put you in that right energy for the day, get you into that spirit of life. So I think when you're in your car driving is when people listen to music a lot more closely than they do when they're listening to music, say just like in their house making dinner, or at a club or at a lounge or something. Like driving, you take in music differently. So we just really love making driving music. I love listening to Moon and Aries when I drive too. I do. It makes me feel really good in the morning and at night. You will find me in my vehicle a lot. I am always driving my son somewhere, my 6-year-old son. Right now he's at math class, extra math, because he loves it. So he excels in math, and so I just have him in like a special program. And yeah, so I'm hanging out. Sometimes I get groceries at this point, but not today.
And I love your videos because you guys are in two different worlds. You're like, one's in Germany and the other one's in Canada. And it's like, you guys, have you ever come together and have you ever met in person yet?
No.
Oh my
No,
gosh, Tom, how does that feel?
It feels really unreal, but on the other hand, I have to say, we are talking every day to each other. We are really having a so close connection, and it feels not like that. It feels really like that we know each other since ever. So at the moment, when you will ask me, how can it be that you have never met each other and you are working so close together, but I think we are channeling exactly on the same frequencies, and our music is such a connection. So it feels not like 9 hours time difference we are having right now. So it is crazy. But coming back also to your question, Yaya, what I like really also about you so much is you are really coming from a music background, and you are really living and loving what you are doing. So it was an honor for me also to talk with you and also to connect more. And I think, Jordana, we talked a lot about that. Yaya is really such an amazing person who understands the music, because we are always struggling that sometimes others are not able to find a genre for us, or maybe saying that it's not mainstream what you are doing and you are not mainstream enough. Yeah, but in our opinion, what is mainstream? Yeah, we can talk about that in another episode. But in our opinion, we are just making the music we are loving, and we want to share these kind of songs with others who are also feeling connected. So we are not making music only to make money. We are really making music because we love what we are doing, and we want to share that. That's it.
We have so much to talk about, but let's take a musical break with Moon and Aries on one of their songs right now. We'll be right back. Don't you go anywhere. Welcome back to the show. Okay, so you can get Moon and Aries on Instagram. You just Google. We're gonna put their information in the description box below under this short documentary that we're doing today. I'm just so excited for them. It comes to a point where you're doing your music, you're making your things, you're doing your stuff, and then all of a sudden you figure out that, wait a minute, people are listening. What was it like for you when you found out that people were really paying attention to your music and actually responding?
It's interesting because, of course, the way like our genre is, like you said, it's a little bit of everything, but it maybe isn't. It's not as familiar. There's elements that are familiar, but it's not all like the stuff that you've heard recently, right? So it does take a little bit longer to win people over. Sometimes people just like the feeling that they get when they listen. And then slowly they start to feel more connected to everything else, the melody, the lyrics, this whole story. And so, yeah, I don't know which song it was where we were like, I think we have people's attention. Because when we put out The Never-Ending Escape, and then there was a bunch of months that went by before our next single officially as Moon and Aries. Our song Glory Attack that came after Shadow, that was like, was it May 2021?
Yes.
We went like full trip hop with this song, and the response from Spotify curators of like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard a song like this in 30 years. And it was so amazing. So we just got onto a lot of different Spotify playlists, and we were like, wow, okay, so now it's okay that we sound retro because people are having this nice little nostalgic moment with our song, and it was the right type of nostalgia, I guess. And then it was just like every song we released, it was just like the more people understood us, they understood, like I said, our full vision. And it's like every new song won people over by a little bit more. And then once we got onto more radio, that was really incredible too, of course. And then I think it was our song The Arrival that did so well in the DJ pools that we were like, okay, because this is now affecting our Spotify where we get paid, and to see our numbers jump sometimes 10,000 listeners, in one day. We're like, okay, this is what people must want. This is what the DJs are playing. This is what people want. They want this particular tempo that works in clubs, restaurants, lounges, hotels. And we love making this kind of music. So let's just keep going. And then it's, when people are looking forward to our next songs, and they're like, the reviewers and the blogs are like, looking forward to our episode 2 after they listen to our episode 1. That's always, that in itself, like, it's just like enough said, right? Like, people are listening, people are.
So before I go into the studio to record some vocals, I practice about 10 of our songs, get into the vibe, get into the mood, get into the spirit, get closer and closer. From episode 1, Break the Matrix trilogy. Here we go.
If our persuasion preludes an occasion we can't deny, we ate the fruit for our price. This way we meet the requirements. We're taking it on, taking it in. On favor of magnetism, laying codes down. Agents of sin, take a step aside and out of town. This occasion preludes our invasion. We're coming closer and closer. Activate the soldier. You're the one
wonderful. You know, I always say that it's not like when you put music out, it's not about the putting music out for fame. I would say it's more like putting music out for your heart and what you hear your music to be. Tom, when you hear your music, and I know you're the 50%, you're the writer of the music and the composer, what do you hear?
And then moving along to something like the in-between, when Tom sent me this, I was a bit exhausted from writing Closer and Closer. And we hadn't quite figured out the idea of the trilogy at this point. And I was like, I need a little bit of time. This is all like a lot of soul searching and a lot of word searching and phrases searching. I think I need a bit of a break to write something else, then come back to songwriting. And I was like, I'm going to work on our comic book. I'm going to work on writing just some straight dialogue. And that's what I like to do sometimes. Sometimes if I can't get to the root of the song, I'll turn it into dialogue between two people. That helps a lot too. But when he sent me the in-between, and I first heard that, here we go, I knew exactly, I was like, oh, it's like, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. And when I wrote this song, it was, okay, so apparently, you know, obviously we love astrology, right? Moon and Aries. Our name is based on our astrology signs. And it was the eclipses. It was the eclipse seasons, and it was the eclipse season in spring, and which, of course, makes a lot of things come up, and you just are sort of forced to go within and deal with some traumas and inner demons that lay a little bit dormant. And so when Tom had sent me the in-between, I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to say. And just the framework of the song already threw me into the atmosphere. I knew the world. That's what Tom's songs always give such a strong atmosphere already that I get thrown into that moment in the movie, and then I just write around that moment. Visually, I really like to create visuals in people's minds in the way that I write too. But Tom's music is already doing that. So like I said, I just always need to enhance and bring it to life in another way. And so when Closer and Closer took me 25 hours to write, the in-between took me 45 minutes. It was really crazy.
So for example, when we're talking about the arrival Jordana mentioned, then I've tried really that building up a more trip hop sound and giving some more effects to that, and really having in my ear during the composition also Jordana's voice. And of course, I do not know her lyrics, but based on our conversations, I have a complete picture about the song. So it's more about storytelling. So when you're asking about my music, I think also coming back to my more cinematic sound and instrumental experience from composing music for video games and films, that I'm more a storyteller. So in my opinion, I'm supporting the wonderful lyrics of Jordana and the vocals by building up a music, let's say, sound carpet to support this the most. So it's all about having a first idea and then building up what you feel. And I can only say when I'm composing, I'm not really building up maybe an instrumental only made for listeners. Mainly I'm following my emotions and I'm sharing complete original emotional Tom with my first ideas. And I know that Jordana will do exactly the same when she starts writing the lyrics and singing it. So I think the unique voice of Jordana is the perfect match to transport our deep inner core emotions.
You know, we got a little bit more of clip, more clips of you guys during the day, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in right now. Don't you guys go anywhere. We'll be right back.
And then the way that the song is, is kind of like done in sort of like different structure, almost like how like a hymn would be in the way that it's repeated. And so I just added in some harmonies, which were kind of difficult but fun. And but as soon as I knew the in-between, the concept itself of being trapped in the in-between, like between old paradigm and new paradigm, between your own, like your old world of who you were and who you want to be, and what that in-between moment feels like. And then also to like the way that I write, because I want people to derive different meanings and different feelings from it, I always layer in the storylines, the three main relationships of your relationship with God, your relationship or like the universe, the most, the great spirit, whatever you want to, call it, most high, your relationship with other people, and then of course your relationship with yourself, right? So, oh, be aware of me. I'm like the water on the silk in your sheets, right? Roll me over for every friendly step forward. Dance with me into the in-between. It's almost, there's a lot of power in the in-between world because it's where you get to create. It's where you dream from. It's your mind's eye, right? So it's like the untangible world. But like I said, it's always in that world that's between what's actually happening and what's going to happen. And I just like, you have to remember to appreciate the moments that like are taking you to where you want to be. And because when you get to where you want to be, you want to like, and you look back and you value it so much. And so when I say in that song, like a garden on a summer day, we face the same fate in the blurry lines between the life we see and the in-between. It's like a garden on a summer day is blooming, it's growing. We just don't always see it. Everything still might look small. It still looks, they're just little seeds, but it's summer and it's going to grow. And that's what I say, we face the same fate in the blurry lines between the life we see and the in-between. We crave the morning, we savor the night, and everything in between. It's just like, embrace it all, because you are going places, things, magical things, amazing things are going to happen. Just embrace the in-between, because that's kind of always where you are, right? So there's that.
Welcome back to the show. So, I mean, okay, so the biggest thing I'm thinking of is, okay, you compose the music, you write the lyrics. How do you guys like put this together? Is it a back and forth all the time? Is it like, oh, he does the music, you do the lyrics, and all of a sudden you got a song and nobody has to go back and forth? I mean, how is this done?
So yes, like as we've progressed, we definitely talk about the concepts a lot more in depth. And so it's so crazy because usually by the time Tom sends me the composition, I'm usually like, I know exactly what I'm gonna write. And so I'll usually do the first verse and the hook, and I'll be like, these are the ideas that I have. And I always love Tom's compositions. I'm always like, yes, this is the song. Like this, I know sometimes the song takes me an hour to write. Sometimes it takes me 3 weeks or, longer. For instance, like our song Closer and Closer, that one for the energy of his instrumental required a certain type of poetry. It wouldn't work any other way. And so to get to that level of poetry and get the message across took me a very long time. And I had so many drafts. And there was times I almost sent it to Tom, and then I'd listen back and be like, no, that's not it. And then I would take a few more drafts. And then finally I'd be like, okay, if I liked it and I felt like this was it, I would send it to Tom. And then, yeah, Tom always feels the same way.
And it's really crazy when we think about that it's not really so much file sharing and sending as you maybe think about that, because it's just matching, as Jordana explained, from the first seconds onwards. So when I'm sending an instrumental, Jordana sending first ideas back, then normally we are both always thinking alike and saying, that's it. And at the end, it is only fine tuning. So I think we have never a problem, Jordana, in my opinion, to really build up a song. So the main song, 3 minutes, for example, are very quickly built. But of course, as Jordana explained, the lyrics writing and finding the perfect writing for that. And then later also, of course, the singing, that is maybe taking a little bit more longer or time. But for us, it is, sometimes I cannot explain it in words, Jordana, how it is working. It is still working. It sounds a little bit magical, but it feels like.
I hear that. I hear that. Wow, wow.
Hey, so I'm going to be recording some vocals in the studio soon. And the one thing that I won't sing without, especially when it comes to the recording studio, which is in my room, is Slippery Elm. Like how gooey this is, and then it coats your throat. It's like an opera singer secret, and I have been using this secret for a very long time, especially if you're not feeling good. I'm feeling fine, but I'm always tired. So it really nicely coats any sort of inflammation in the throat and gets rid of a scratch, and yeah, makes your voice glisten. It really does. So here we go. You can put in a lot too. I don't know. I put in a lot. The more the merrier. I'm not gonna pour it right now. I'm just gonna talk about it really quick, just because these are good tips. Beet crystals, beets, beet juice, whichever, help with oxygen intake, which helps with holding notes and breathing. So helps you. Breathing goes hand in hand with singing, right? Okay.
Welcome back to the show. I always have so much fun doing interviews, and especially with people that I've created a relationship with, and I feel like I know you guys a little bit better each and every time that we work together. And this documentary that we're having today is all about you. It's all about the process. I mean, it does dispute the fact that you could be in one country and someone else could be in a different country and still do music together. What would you tell a person or a group of people who really want to do this?
Yeah, I think it's not so easy, because you cannot maybe plan it or we have not a recipe, a masterpiece recipe for everyone. So I'm not sure that you can copy paste it, but I would say, first of all, find the right match, that you always combine your maybe talents. So for example, when I would be mainly a lyrics writer and Jordana would define her also mainly as a lyrics writer, maybe it could be difficult. So when you have really clear defined roles, but also having an experience in writing songs completely, then you understand better the other one. So for example, with my singing experiences from the past, maybe I'm better composing now also to have in mind what a singer should or could do with a song. So maybe that's it from to make it short, that in my opinion, combine your talents would be maybe one of the secrets to be successful with this way.
It's true. I just feel like it just takes it to the next level. And you just have to be humble to know where your strengths and your weaknesses are. And I had to come to terms with that because I love playing instruments, but I don't think of melodies. I only think of lyrics. And so it's so amazing to work with someone who thinks of melodies, because that never comes into my head. And I could get lyrics and then find a melody. And that's, I always build on Tom's melodies. And so, yeah, and you really just, I think now in this day and age of indie artists, people kind of do feel like they need to do it all themselves. But if you can just do what you do really well, then there's a good chance you'll find someone else who does what they do, and then combine it. Be humble to know that like there's very few people who can be incredible at the whole picture, right? We even have people who do the visual arts for us and stuff, and Tom and I are always trying to explain to our visual artist what we want, and then she always comes back with something like 10 times better than what we could ever imagine, because like our minds just don't work in that way either, right? So it's just strong collaborations for sure. But fine-tuning your skills of what it is that you really do bring to the table. Yeah.
Well, we've been doing this documentary of Moon and Aries now for a bit, and I hope that you understand them more and more. From the first time that I've worked with them until now, you've seen it all. You've seen all the shout outs, you've seen everything. And it takes time to actually get to where they are today. Their billboard, they've been on the Times Square. I mean, literally, these guys are moving forward. I'm so proud of them, so happy for them, and I can't wait to work with them again. You know why? Because they truly love music. Where can people find you guys? Where can they find your music?
Of course, everyone will find our music in every possible streaming platform, like on Spotify, or when you're talking about Apple Music, iMusic, and so on. So every possible streaming platform, there can you find our music. But we would love when you will discover us full on our website, www.moonandaries.com. That is our website in one word, Moon and Aries. And really A-N-D, so Moon and Aries, and then .com, you will find a lot of our background material and the way to our songs. And of course, when you discover our YouTube channel, Moon and Aries, you will see also our unique videos. And we are so proud that we are having an amazing team around us doing some cover art and so amazing video materials. And so I think not only our music, so our video material should be also interesting. So that's, have I forgotten something, Jordana?
That's everything. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of those, but more so Instagram. We're more active on there. Yeah.
And from time to time, you see us also on Times Square on a billboard.
Right.
Definitely. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me, and thank you guys so much for tuning into this amazing documentary with Moon and Aries. They have music out there just for you. We're going to put all of the information in the description box below, and if you don't see it there, just go ahead and go to their website, moonandaries.com. That's moonandaries.com. I want to thank you two for being here, and I can't wait to work with you guys again. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to dare to be different, and until next time, guys, bye.